Hello, once again, you are welcome. My name is Sati Satmer Tapel, and I will be your instructor today in our Packet Tracer Skills Lab activities. Today, particularly, we'll be looking at inter-VLAN routing, but focusing on how to configure layer 3 switching for inter-VLAN routing. In the last class that we took, we looked at how to configure router on a stick for inter-VLAN routing. And in that scenario, we were able to see and understand that for VLANs to be able to route from one VLAN to the other, they need a router. And that router, you need to configure what we call sub-interfaces on that router, okay? And the encapsulation you will do on the sub-interface, and then after you're done with the configuration, your VLANs are going to talk to each other. In our lectures, we also understood that there is a limitation to that setup, especially in an enterprise network where you have more than 50 VLANs. That scenario is not advisable. That scenario is advisable in a small to medium setup, where you have VLANs maybe less than 50 or maximum of 50. But what if you have like a campus or a very big enterprise network where you have so many VLANs? That is where you need what we call a multi-layer switch. Okay, as you can see in the topology by the right, you have this is switch 1, switch 2, switch 3. But there is a multi-layer switch here. Multi-layer switch is a switch that functions at multiple layers, particularly layer 2 and layer 3. A normal switch works at layer 2. A router works at layer 3 because it does routing. But in a multi-layer switch, it can perform at layer 2, it can perform at layer 3. At the layer 3, what it does is that it can do what we call the inter-VLAN routing and then basic routing protocols, just some basic ones, okay? So we are going to be using it so that we can configure. Now, on what scenarios do you use the layer 3 switch, all right, or the multi-layer switch, like I said, in a very big enterprise setup or maybe a campus setup? So these are like some instructions we're going to use and follow to be able to carry out this particular lab activity, right? So this is the addressing table that we are going to use. And in the addressing table, you will see the multi-layer switch here has VLAN 10, 20, 30, 99, all right? And then gigabit 0/2. So that's what it has as the various interfaces, okay? All right, so let's go into it. The objective is to configure layer 3 switching and then to configure inter-VLAN routing, okay? And then also configure IP version 6 inter-VLAN routing. That's the objective for this. So let's look at the scenario, okay? Based on this scenario, a multi-layer switch like the Cisco 3650 is capable of both layer 2 switching and layer 3 routing. One of the advantages of using multi-layer switch is that it's dual functionality. A benefit for a small, medium-sized company would be the ability to purchase a single multi-layer switch instead of separate switching and routing network devices. Capabilities of a multi-layer switch include the ability to route from one VLAN to another using multiple switched virtual interfaces, as well as the ability to convert a layer 2 switch port to a layer 3 interface, okay? Then let's look at the instructions. Part 1, configure layer 3 switching. This is it, configure layer 3 switching, okay? And then we say that in this part, you will configure the Ethernet gigabit Ethernet 0/2 port on a switch, multi-layer switch as a routed port. See, that's the first thing you do, convert it as a routed port and verify that you can ping another layer 3 device, right? So let's go into it. These are the steps, right? You log into the switch and you say interface gigabit 0/2. That's the interface that you want to convert into a routing port. Okay, then you'll say no switch port, right? Then after that, you will put in an IP address. And this IP address is like the global IP address that connects to the interface. This is what we're talking about here. This one you see here. Then it says verify cloud pinging by pinging this. So we're going to ping it to the cloud. And then this is what we should get. When you see this exclamation mark, it means that the pinging is a success, right? So let's go into it. So if I click it, and then I enter my enable, then configure terminal, then I go to the interface gigabit 0/2. Then I say no switch port. So the moment I say no switch port, observe, it says the line protocol on the interface has changed to down. Then it comes back here, it says line protocol on the interface has changed to up, because I am changing the entire behavior of the switch port. So it has to go down and come up, okay? Then I now give it an IP address, 209.165.200.225, okay? That's the IP address. The subnet mask 255.255.255.252. All right, that's the /30 IP address that was given to it. Okay, so having done that, the next thing is I'm going to verify, I'm going to ping this IP address. Now, where is this IP address? This IP address is the IP address of a router in the cloud here. Okay, it's the IP address of the router. So since I have enabled the routing, I've disabled the switching. Okay, so let's see. So I'm going to now exit, go back to my privilege mode, and I ping this IP address. So let's wait and see. All right, voila. We have a success. Can you see? So it means that configuration worked for that interface. So let's continue. The next thing is for us to configure the inter-VLAN routing. So we're going to add VLANs. We're going to add VLAN 10 and we'll name it staff. VLAN 20, we'll name it student. VLAN 30, we'll name it faculty. All right, so let's do that. Okay. So, sorry. Where are we doing that? Sorry, let me get which switch are we doing that. Configure the VLAN. Add VLAN, so which means I'm going to add it on all the switches. Okay, add VLANs to multi-layer switch. Right, so I'll go to the multi-layer switch, which is this guy. Right, so okay, so config T. Then I say VLAN 10, name is staff. VLAN 20, name is student. VLAN 30, name is faculty. So I've created the VLANs. All right. The next thing, so they say we have to create it to this MLS, which we have done, all right, according to the table which we have done. Then the next thing is configure switch virtual interface on the multi-layer switch. Okay, all right. Now, We're going to do that by assigning an IP address to the VLAN 10. Okay, so come back to the switch. Then to do that, we now say interface VLAN 10 we have created. All right, then IP address, we give it the IP address as specified here, 192.168.10.254. Subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Okay, good. So we've assigned the IP address. The next thing is to say, sorry, too fast. Okay, configure trunking on the multi-layer switch, right? Trunk configuration differs slightly on a layer 3 switch. On the layer 3 switch, the trunking interface needs to be encapsulated with a .1q protocol. For those of you that participated in the last class I took about the router on a stick, you will notice that we have to do encapsulation .1q, all right? However, it's not necessary to specify the VLAN number, as it is when working with a router and sub-interfaces. See, that's where the difference. When we were doing the router on a stick, we were configuring sub-interface, you say encapsulation.1q, then the VLAN number, maybe 10, encapsulation.1q, then 20. But here on a multi-layer switch, if you just use the encapsulation.1q, you don't need the VLAN number, okay? So that's just a point to note. So let's go. A says on the multi-layer switch, configure interface gigabit 0/1. Okay. So, right. So, say interface gigabit 0/1 says make this interface static trunk port. Then I say switch port mode trunk. Okay, and then made it trunk. Then it says specify the native VLAN, right? Then we assign it switch port trunk native VLAN 99, right? Okay, so I've specified it. Then D, it says encapsulate with the .1q protocol. Then I say switch port trunk encapsulation.1q, right? So let's see what is next. All right, it says node packet tracer minus encapsulation, no problem. Then step 4, configure trunking on switch 1. That is switch 1. Where are we doing trunking? We have to do trunking between this guy, these guys. You understand? All it. So, and then to do that, we go to switch 1. And then configure the interface gigabit 0/1 on switch 1 as a trunk. All right, and configure the native VLAN on the trunk. Okay. All right, so enable configure terminal interface gigabit 0/1 switch port mode trunk. Okay. Then you see, let's give it, let's do the native VLAN. All right. Switch port trunk native VLAN 99. Right. So we've assigned that. Then the next thing, let us enable routing. See, because that's a multi-layer switch. It has the ability to do routing. So if I use the show IP route command, are there any active routes? So let me find out. So if I say show IP route, okay, see, it says it's empty. There's no route. Default gateway is not even set. There's no route. Everything is empty. Okay. So what we do, we enable routing, and we use the command IP routing, and we use this command in the global configuration mode. Okay. So, right. So I come here, MLS, figure terminal, then I see IP routing. Right, good. So if I do IP routing, now show IP route, you will see that it has changed. Right, because I've enabled IP routing, can you see it has routes to directly connected routes? You understand? So it's now giving me route information. Okay, so the moment you use the show IP route, it gives you routing information. Okay. The next thing, all right, so let's see, we should be able to get connection to VLAN 10, 20, 30, 99. All right, so say it here, so IP routes. Let's see what we've got. We can see, I can see directly connected to VLAN 10. Then all these are directly connected routes. Okay, so I cannot see other routes. So we're going to find out what happened and we'll solve it together. Okay. All right, let's proceed. Okay, so a minute. Let me answer this call. Sorry for that. I needed to answer this call. All right, so where were we? Okay, we checked the routing table, and there's so many routes we didn't get. So let's go back to our table. Let's see our table, and let's be sure I've done everything correct. Okay. For VLAN 10, oh, okay, we need to assign these IP addresses for each of the VLANs. So maybe let's go ahead and do that for now. Okay, so come back here. So configure terminal. All right, so interface VLAN 10. IP address. Maybe I will be just copying and pasting to make it faster for me. Let me just copy this like this. IP address, just paste it. Uh-oh, it's not pasting. Okay, 192.168.10.254. Subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Okay. Then the next one is, you see there are two IP addresses on the VLAN. This is another IP. This is IPv6. You understand? So this is IPv6. So I will now say IPv6 address. Then paste. Okay, so it's working. All right, so my IPv6 address is there. Then the next one, I go to VLAN 20, interface VLAN 20. Okay. Right, so I'll go to IP address 192.168.20.254. So 255.255.255.0. Then I will come for the IP version 6, copy it to make it faster for me. Okay, I say IPv6 address. Just paste it here. Okay. Then exit. Then I go to interface VLAN 30. Right. IP address. Pick up this IP address. Copy it. Come in here. Paste it. Subnet mask /24 255.255.255.0. Then my IPv6, copy it. Right, copy it. I say IPv6 address. Then I paste it. Okay. Then my VLAN 99. My VLAN 99. That's okay. Interface VLAN 99. Then IP address. I paste it 255.255.255.0. Right, good. Then, Then I come to gigabit interface gigabit 0/2. I think we did that. Let me be sure. You can come in here to verify. Exit. I say, what come I say? Show IP interface brief. Okay, so it will give me this command will give me just brief information about the IPs. So I'm going to gigabit 0/2. This is gigabit 0/2. Okay, we have assigned, but we didn't assign the IP version 6 address. So see the IP version 6 here. So let me assign it. Let me copy it. Okay, so that's how I go back to 50. Yeah, interface G0/2 IPv6 address, and then I put my IPv6 there. Okay, and then what else is on it? So I think these systems PC0, I believe they have their IP addresses, but let's verify. Targeting the gates, this is the IP addresses. So PC0, let me check IP configuration 10.1. I think so they have their IP addresses. Can you see it? So this is 20.1, that's PC1. Can see it. And so I think they have their IP addresses. So let's see what else. PC3. It has both IP version 4 and IP version 6. I think that's correct. Then let me scroll down. So I believe the PCs have. So now the switches, switch 1, 2, and 3, they need to have their IP addresses on VLAN 99. So I go to switch 1. Okay. Enable configure terminal. Then I say interface VLAN 99. IP address would be 192.168.99.1, right? That's what we have, 99.1. Okay. Oh, sorry. Subnet mask 255. Okay, or we're supposed to use okay, a PD4 gateway 255.255.0. Okay, so the next one we're going to now do, is for switch 2. Okay, for switch 2. So I'll come in here, enabled, configure terminal. Further, now I can do show IP, do show run. Let's see if VLAN 99 has been issued an IP address. Oh, okay, the VLAN 99 have been issued an IP address. So I think that is it. The same thing with switch 3. So it has been issued. So I think the last thing that we need to do before we call it a day, we enabled, I remember we enabled IP routing. IP routing, where did we do that? We enabled IP routing here. And the IP, no, look at it here, IP routing, we enabled IP routing. And the IP routing we enabled was because we're using IP version 4, but we also have IP version 6. So we need to also enable it. The global mode. Now say IP unicast, IPv6, v6, unicast routing. Okay. Now, if we have done that, that means we enable routing for both IP version 4 and IP version 6. The unicast is for IP version 6. The IP routing is for IP version 4. So now if I do show IP route, now you see my routing table is full. See, these are all the information, which means I can see all the VLANs and my routing is moving properly. All right, so this is how to do multi-layer routing, configure, multi-layer routing on a multi-layer switch. I hope this has been useful and beneficial to you. All right, thank you for participating. See you in the next class. Have a lovely day ahead. Thank you.